When a tornado leveled the Plaza Towers Elementary School in Moore, Oklahoma on May 20th, Police Chaplain Jack Poe was called in to be with the families of the children who were then unaccounted for.
When they actually sent us over there, we were told there may be 20 or 30 kids that have deceased. But until the rescuers get in there and start pulling people out, we don't know for sure. I'm trying to imagine, how do you deal with that many people who have lost children?
Reverend Poe has been in these types of situations before, offering his services when the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City was bombed in 1995, flying to New York to assist as a chaplain after 9/11. And when he retired from the Oklahoma City Police Department in 2011, he agreed to be Moore's chaplain, on call when needed. At a mobile dormitory for out-of-town relief workers, Reverend Poe shared his reflections on lessons learned from this tragedy. One challenge was getting information on which children had been accounted for.
So from your perspective as a chaplain, this wasn't handled well?
If we had pre-planned, we'd have had better information to deal with the families. One of the issues were who has the list of children who were taken to the hospital. If we had some kind of system to track where these children are taken, so that there would be a central point that the families could go to, and there would be a list of this child was taken to this hospital, this child was taken to this hospital.
The next issue, finding a suitable place for parents to await word from authorities. Parents were assembled at a church with no electricity, no working bathrooms, where they waited over 10 hours for word on their children.
The longer they had to stay there, the more hope that they were losing.
At the end of the night, the medical examiner called, asking the remaining parents to write down descriptions of their children, what they had worn to school that day.
You throw out the word medical examiner, they went berserk on us.
So parents went home that first night not knowing whether their children were alive or dead?
Without any official notification that their child was alive or dead. But knowing the chances of them being alive was very slim.
The next morning, the families of the 7 children killed by the tornado gathered in a church.
We knew from what we did in the bombing in Oklahoma City that the best thing is to take those families into a private area and allow that grief process to take place there and stay with them until they were ready to go home. The medical examiner needed to know what funeral home to release those bodies to.
You went to funeral directors that you knew and you said, look, these families, they don't have a lot of money. Can you help them out?
I said to them, we're being asked where to take these kids, and these people do not have a clue. They've lost their home, they've lost their child. I can't guarantee you that they have money to cover the expenses. Could you take a couple of those kids for us? This funeral director said, I'll take all of them.
What have you learned in all of your experience in ministering to people who've lost their children?
That there are no easy answers, and you need to be very careful what you say to them. How do we help them find what that new normal is going to be?
Reverend Poe says families of the 7 children will be checked up on in weeks to come and offered counseling, and he plans to participate in a discussion with city officials on how to better manage a tragedy such as this. Jason Bellini, The Wall Street Journal, Moore, Oklahoma.